All righty, guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. Man, that show went by so wickedly fast. I'm still spinning. There's still stuff we didn't get to. I hit all the important stuff, I guess. I debated even talking about the maintenance checkup sale today. I was like, well, it's kind of important because the sale starts on Monday, which means, a quarter of the month will be gone by the time the first radio show listeners hear about it. So it's kind of important that we do that. I really didn't talk anything about computer maintenance. World Backup Day, I didn't talk about backups. Oh, so much that we didn't have time to do. But for those of you who are regular listeners to the program and have been with Schrock forever, you do understand what happens during a preventative maintenance checkup sale. You know that things get stupid busy. And so the best policy, the absolute best policy, if you're bringing it in for a preventative maintenance checkup, bring it in right now today. We're open from noon to 5. On Monday, we open at 10. You can bring it in Monday. We'll still have open bench spots on Monday. Once you get to like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where things start to get kind of full, we get a little bit of a queue going. Not bad turnaround times, but just not same day. Like right now, we're surfing close to same day turnaround times. So it's awesome. We have way more staff than we used to have. We hired a bunch of people, and now we're finding the right places for all of them over time here. So preventative maintenance checkups will be on special for the month of April. Now, the 20th anniversary twist that we're working on right now. I mentioned last week that you're going to see a message on your screen that is telling you that you have to reboot your computer for an endpoint update. That has not started yet. It will start very soon. We are working with Symantec. There's a little bit of confusion on some things, and we got it all sorted out this weekend, but so it's going to be next week when this is all happening. But basically, you're getting a new version of Endpoint. This new version of Endpoint is more powerful than the current version, if that's even possible. It is better protection. It is all next-gen software that is all going to be compatible with high-resolution displays, stuff that the current version of Endpoint is not. The other huge thing, though, is you will now have endpoint protection available for your mobile devices. So any iOS or Android device, whether that's a tablet, like a tablet or a iPhone or an Android phone, as opposed to going with junky-free antivirus software that you get off whatever app you get. There was just a story we covered last week that 66% of those programs are vaporware. They don't do anything. Well, now you can actually get endpoint on your mobile devices and have that as tied to your endpoint account, basically. So the cool thing here is we're going to offer endpoint installs on your mobile devices at the renewal price. If people take advantage of it at the renewal price, it's $65 per year to have your mobile devices protected. But if you're using an iPad to do all of your bill pay, if you're using an iPad to do all your email and stuff like that, it makes sense to protect it. In the past, I remember it's 2 years ago, we were talking about security threats. And I said, there's nothing really out there for tablets and phones yet as far as threats, but it's coming. Well, now it's here. One of the things that people are doing is you'll get a completely legitimate app on the phone, and then all of a sudden an update will come down. And the update is actually malware. And the update is released by the company that made the original app was a malware company. They were a group of guys who were trying to infect devices. So they come up with something that's really cool and free and addictive, whatever. You put it on your phone, you're playing the game, your kids are playing the game, they love it. And then all of a sudden in the background, this app starts shooting pop-ups on your screen. And that's how it begins. And eventually we get into ransomware. Imagine all the photos on your phone getting encrypted. Now the new Samsung S10 actually has a built-in Bitcoin wallet, which will be handy because you'll need Bitcoin to unlock your ransomed pictures. So I didn't talk about this on the show today because we had a lot to talk about and it's not ready yet. So don't call and ask for it yet. But when it is ready, which hopefully will be next week, we will offer that as our special twist on the maintenance checkup special that is new this year for the 20th anniversary, is a Symantec endpoint on your mobile devices. All right, happy March 31st. That's right. Today is World Backup Day, folks. So take a moment today just to double check that your backup is working, that there are no notifications in your notification thing down in the lower right-hand corner indicating that the backup failed for any reason. If you're still using the old Windows 7 backup, you need to stop using that and switch over to the file history backup that comes with Windows 10. We talked about that on previous shows a number of times, so I'm not going to delve into that too deeply, but you want to make sure you do that. All right, if the computer uses facial recognition to open, what happens when you take it for services? Oh, yeah, good question, Loanne. We actually, when you drop the computer off, we take a picture of you. And then when we stand in front of the computer, we hold it up. No, we don't do that. That'd be cool, though, right? I wonder if that would work. No, but basically, it doesn't replace the password. You can, to set up the Windows Hello, you have to have a password and or a PIN number and or Windows Hello. So you can use any of those methods to log in. So for example, if trying to think if there was a time for some reason that my Windows Hello wouldn't work. It was low light, something, it wouldn't work. After 2 or 3 attempts, it says, okay, just enter your password. And then you can enter your password to get in. So you'd give us the password just like you always would, and we would get in using the password. We wouldn't have to keep your head there because that would be inconvenient for you, I bet. All right. Got the endpoint notice, said to restart my computer. You did. Yes, so that was, there are 2 updates for endpoint. One of them is the normal endpoint client update in the lower right-hand corner, just a standard update for the scanning engine that required a restart to finish installation. No huge rush, right? You could have waited a little while, restart when it's convenient for you. This update is different. When this one comes down, you're going to know it because it's going to put a message on the screen that says your computer will restart in 20 minutes. You can't cancel it. You can't close out of it. You can't stop it. It says save your work and prepare for a restart, and there's a button where the only button you can click is restart now. And what it's actually doing is it's uninstalling your old version of Semantic Endpoint from your computer and then reinstalling this new version of Semantic Endpoint that is going to give you this higher level of protection that we're subscribing to over at Semantic. They made this new version of Endpoint available to us, and it's the right thing to do. You guys pay us a lot of money to keep your computers safe. This new version of Endpoint will do a better job of keeping it safe than the old version did, and it even communicates better. So we'll be able to do things. One of the things we've always wanted to do is send you like a monthly or a quarterly email with statistics about what Endpoint has done. Because one of the things, sometimes people are hesitant to renew Endpoint because they just don't know it's doing anything. But if you see the stats that I see on the back end, where the average computer is getting hit like 4 times a day, with ransomware attack attempts and malware attempts and everything else. And Endpoint is just like a ninja, just knocking these things out. So we're going to get a report together. This new version will let us send you a report that says, these are the things that your Endpoint has fixed for you this month or have stopped from infecting your computer this month. Yay, Endpoint. We're not asking you for any money or anything. It's just, yay, Endpoint. Keep the subscription going. And then when it comes time, for renew it, you'll actually renew it and understand why we're asking you to renew it. All right. So yeah, so Gail, that one is still coming. Oh, let's see. What did we not get to on the show today? Let us see. All right. At the Black Hat Asia 2019 Security Conference, security researchers from Positive Technologies, Positive Hackers, disclosed the existence of a previously unknown and undocumented feature in Intel chipsets. This is kind of interesting because this is a feature of the chipset. This is something Intel put in there on purpose, but never documented for anybody. So Intel knew it was there. It's called the Intel Visualization of Internal Signals Architecture, called VISA, Intel VISA. Positive Technology researchers said that this new utility included in modern Intel chipsets is to help test and debug on manufacturing lines. So this is software that's used during the manufacturing process to make sure that your processor in your computer is okay, is good. VISA is included with the platform controller hub chipsets of all modern CPUs and works like a full-fledged logic signal analyzer, which also exposes the computer's entire data. Yay! Unauthorized access to the VISA feature would allow a threat actor, a bad guy, China, to intercept data from the computer's memory and create spyware that works at the lowest possible level. But those low-down, dirty spywares. But despite its extremely intrusive nature, very little is known about this technology because all of the VISA documentation is subject to a non-disclosure agreement and is not available to the general public. Normally, this combination of secrecy and secure default should keep Intel users safe from possible attacks and abuse. However, the 2 researchers said they found several methods of enabling VISA and abusing it to sniff data that passes through the CPU. And even though The secretive Intel management engine, which has been housed in the PCH since the release of the processors, this means it is not safe. Intel says it's safe. Researchers disagree. All right, the simplest method contains using the vulnerabilities detailed in this incredibly boring security bulletin advisory to take control of the Intel management engine and enable Visa. Once the Intel Visa issue is discussed at the Black Hat, Asia relies on physical access to previously mitigated vulnerabilities. So you're basically stacking two vulnerabilities together. So I'm gonna cut through this and basically just I'm gonna break it down for you. Okay. When you use a previously disclosed vulnerability along with this Visa vulnerability, you can see everything that goes through a computer. If it shows up on the screen, you can see it. If it goes through the keyboard, mouse, speakers, see it, hear it, anything you do on the computer, wide open for capture. And you would be foolish if you did not believe that right now governments have already developed malware to take advantage of this. They probably had it before this. So this is just another example of, well, we're building a lot of new AI software at Schrock. And there's a lot of things that we're just like, why would anybody want access to that? We could save a lot of time if we just made the password easy. You know, like the hard drive database. Okay, this is an example of the kind of work we're doing at Schrock right now. When you send in a data recovery to us on the new system, we're going to put in the model number, put in the model numbers, everything else that we need to know on the data recovery. So if we have a hard drive donor and match in the library, it will tell the technician automatically that there is a match in our hard drive library if we need donor parts for this drive, whether that's a circuit board or heads or whatever. It's just a handy thing for us to know. It also allows us to better estimate your data recovery completion time, because if we don't have those parts, we know we're going to have to wait for them to be shipped to us, which can add 5 days on your recovery. So it allows us more accurate estimates, and it's all AI based. So we have a library, we know what drives we have, we know what your drive is because we have that information collected when you send the drive in. So now we'll know if we have that drive or not, and we can give you a better estimate on how long it'll take for your data recovery to be finished. Again, something that none of the other data recovery companies do. Great. Why do we need to secure the hard? Who is going to break into our hard drive database to see how many hard drives we have, or what models we have of hard drives? Or are they going to shop our database? It might be a little, I don't know, suspicious when you call us and be like, yeah, you got like hard drive number 5024, and that was a match for something we need. Can we get that from you? How did you know that? You know, well, we broke into your stuff. Nobody's going to want access to this. And it was really tempting because we could shave an hour off of the development time, which every new feature we build, if we can shave an hour off of developing it, that's, especially with our developers are paid so much money, it saves a lot of money. But there are always, this is another example of it, unintended consequences to those actions. So best practices is to always secure everything, every entrance vector, requiring ultra-strong passwords, possibly two-factor authentication, the whole yin-yang, to make sure that your stuff stays secure, even something that is seemingly unimportant, that no one should even ever know how to find. Someone's going to find it. Somebody found the Visa. And now with another vulnerability, they figured out a way they could turn Visa on. And Visa turned on, well, we're only going to turn this on in the factory for testing the chips before they come off the assembly line. There's absolutely no reason for us to secure this. Come on, that's stupid, right? So let's just let it roll. This is what happens when you just let it roll. So yeah, once again, Intel processors, bad boo-boo, hardware-based, can't be fixed with a software patch, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Take advantage of the ultimate upgrade that comes with the Ryzen processor, which is faster than the Intel chips, better than the Intel chips, cheaper than the Intel chips, and on special at Schrock right now. I mean, you can't go wrong. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Hi, Alan. How are you? Can Endpoint be installed for your cell phone? Great question, Terry. As of today, no. As of next week, probably. They have come out with a new version of Semantic Endpoint that will offer iOS and Android options for installation. We have to get all of our existing customers migrated to the new Endpoint platform first. Once they're all migrated to the new Endpoint platform, at that point, we'll be able to explore the methods of getting these installations done. Like we haven't tested, for example, can we Schrock desk to an iPhone? So do an email with a link and have you click the link and then do something. So we're still working on how we're going to actually go through the deployment method, but we are going to put it on special probably starting next week or as soon as it's available, where we're going to install endpoint on iPhones, Androids, iPads, tablets for the renewal price just in the month of April. After that, it'll be the normal 160, just like it is for a computer, because we warranty these installs too. But just for the month of April, it'll be that renewal price only. You'll be able to add all those devices if you'd like to. So you wanted to say, I'm going to break it down. I did want to say that, but I realized that nobody else would know what the heck break it down Barney style meant. So I cut it out. If you're wondering, now you brought it up. Break it down Barney style. All right, there. If you're looking for an audiobook series to listen to, I would highly recommend the audiobook series Expedition Force by B.V. Larson. It's narrated by R.C. Bray, one of the best fiction sci-fi narrators around. The rough concept is average Joe Blow military guy is present on Columbus Day when there happens to be some kind of alien invasion on Earth. Of course, this is present day, so Earth has no idea that aliens exist. Everybody freaks out. Something bad is happening. Aliens are attacking a bunch of school children or something. I don't remember. It's been years since I listened to the first book. Main character Joe Bishop commandeers an ice cream truck with Barney the purple dinosaur on the front of it and uses it to, like, bam, knock some alien butt. And therefore, going forward, like, hey, you're the Barney guy. And it becomes like a derivative for him. So, like, you're an idiot. So let me, because he finds an all omnipotent, just super smart AI, which he of course names Skippy because he can't think of a better name for it. So he finds a godlike artificial intelligence and he calls it Skippy. Skippy can bend space-time. He can do all kinds of crazy stuff. But he's really, 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 I can't say that word. He's not nice. He's rude sometimes. He's what you would typically call somebody when they're being an, yes. That's Skippy. Except, so Joe Bishop names him Skippy, and whenever Joe has some stupid idea about how to solve some problem and save the Earth, Skippy says, Joe, that's not going to work. Let me break it down for you Barney style, because of the purple dinosaur on the ice cream truck. So, thank you for, I thought I definitely avoided having to explain that, lovely Kimberly. But no, so Expeditionary Force by B.V. Larson. Let me get you a link. It's really good. There are like six or seven books out. So yeah, if you're looking for something where you'll have tons and tons and tons of hours of audio, you'll be able to take advantage of this, because like I said, each book is like 17 hours of audio. So if you have long car trips, things like that coming up, you can definitely use this to help pass the time. Boom. There's a link for you. Breaking it down Barney style. Now, see, that's going to become a show thing now. And I'm going to have to credit B.V. Larson every time I say it. And then now, no one except for AfterSchrock listeners is going to know what it means when I say, let me break it down for you Barney style. Everyone's going to think I'm really mean, actually. Because somebody might figure out, like, Barney, like the purple dinosaur? Hello! Gosh, Thor, you're so mean to your listeners. You're telling them they're like Barney the purple dinosaur. By Craig Allenson. Oh, did I say the wrong name? Hi, Carolyn. All right. Interesting. So, all right. So anyway, Craig Allenson, my apologies. B.V. Larson does Undying Mercenaries, another great series. I do a lot of driving between the service centers, guys. I got to have some audiobooks or I fall asleep. So anyway, what else do we got? Oh, fun fact, 3D manufacturing is getting like super crazy. Basically, a couple weeks ago, they 3D printed a bridge suspended in the air. They actually 3D printed this bridge, and it was just like a model bridge, but they 3D printed it in the air. So they started at one bank, and they started the metal printers, because it was a metal 3D printer, and they were like, and they printed the support, and then all of a sudden there was a bridge. And it was printed in place. They didn't have to ship anything there besides like the metal powder they needed to make the metal bridge. But it was like humans didn't build it. There was no cranes like with big I-beams. The way that we manufacture big things like that or spaceships in orbit or any kind of crazy thing like that, is going to be radically different in our lifetimes than it is now. Just another example of some craziness. So if you're looking for a career opportunity, I would recommend you learn about 3D printing, because someone's got to run that printer, unless the AI can just run it for you. I don't know. Hundreds of compromised WordPress and Joomla websites are serving up malware to visitors. So this week, we got an alert. The bat signal, the Captain Kirk went off in the service center, and all of a sudden, we're like, what's going on? We had a two-pronged, excuse me, simultaneous attack on the Secure Updater and the Schrock Innovations websites. It was weird because they happened at the same time on a server where there were hundreds of WordPress websites, but just those two were hit. We deflected both attacks, but we sandboxed what would have happened, and basically they were taking over our website, so that basically you go to the homepage and the homepage would show up, but then any page you click on would have generated massively revolving pop-ups, which would have taken you to malware infection sites or anything else. So ironically enough, if you would have come to our website to learn about how to secure your computer or to buy endpoint, you would have become infected. So it's a big deal. So we caught that, but hundreds of websites did not catch it. Researchers see a spike in compromised domains attempting to deliver malicious payloads, including shade, ransomware, and phishing links. This is why you need endpoint on your computer, guys. When these websites become compromised, endpoint doesn't rely on a list of compromised websites like some antivirus programs do. Now, they do have a list of websites that are currently compromised, and they update that list frequently, but they look at behavior of websites. Humans don't refresh pages every half second over and over and over again to different websites. You can't type that fast. So that's obviously not a normal behavior. And so Symantec is going to prevent those websites from loading. As if one of them does happen to load, as the attack hits your browser, Symantec detects these attacks coming through your browser. That's most of the attacks we see now are ransomware attacks through browsers, because people have outdated third-party software. They have endpoint, but they don't have Secure Updater, and boom, it tries to get in. It would have got through, but endpoint caught it and stopped it. Best policy, again, best practices is to secure every entry point. So you should have Secure Updater and you should have endpoint together. But if you don't, endpoint's kind of without a safety net, basically. You can get it done. Yeah, so if you own a website, if you run a website, if you're watching this and you sell and you maintain websites, super duper important. The reason they tried to attack us is we had a plugin that was somewhat meaningless. It was a shipping plugin that detected your county or your city and county for sales tax computation based on your zip code. That was the plugin that they were attacking through. And so we patched it and everything was fine. But again, something stupid like that, make sure you get your plugins patched, make sure you update your versions of WordPress, and make sure you do it pretty quickly. This is why when you host with Schrock, we manage all the security of your website, and we require security updates. They're not optional. You have to have them. We have to do them. You're not allowed to do them. We will do them for you, and we will charge for that. So we're super, super serious about security, because one compromised website on the server can compromise the entire server. Just like with Intel, one compromise on an Intel chip, all of a sudden you're saying, oh, that's not important. And then some other vulnerability comes along, and yeah, it became important all of a sudden, and you didn't realize how they were going to stack together. We don't want that to happen. Okay, last call for questions, guys. Last call. Nebraska needs that printer. Does it refill potholes? Yeah, that would be something like AI pothole filler. You know, save the city of Omaha a lot of money. They're paying for people's pothole damage. But yeah, so now that the flooding is done, I've seen a lot more potholes getting filled. The trouble is they fill it with that cold pack stuff, and so it fills, and then, you know, as cars drive over it, it shoots out rocks, and then it's a pothole again. You got to go back and fill it in again. So I don't know. Does the endpoint message "no services available" mean my subscription has expired? It indeed does, Bill. No services available means that we ended your subscription either for non-payment or for if there was a technical issue where something tried to get into your computer and damaged your endpoint in the process. That could be it as well. Bill, call the service center, and today at noon, have them check your subscription status and make sure that if you're supposed to have endpoint, that you do have endpoint running. And if you don't have endpoint running, if you're no longer a subscriber, we can get you resubscribed to that real quick. And we'll do it just for the renewal price for you. Good morning, Kathy. How are you doing? All right, last call for questions, guys, and then I've got to get rolling here because honestly, my voice is going out. Oh, golly. And before I forget to do it, I need to send the email with the winner. Today was Joan. Sunday winner is Joan. And Joan's phone number is, I'm not going to say it out loud, guys. Come on. It's like my first rodeo. Yeah, my new Gigablast internet at home keeps dropping, so I keep losing my connection to the computer at home. That's great. Thanks, Cox. Appreciate it. I pay an extra $50 a month to get super fast internet that's supposedly more reliable, get a new modem and everything else that I had to buy myself, and my stuff still drops like a rock. All righty. Last call for questions, guys. Hey, Kyle, welcome back. Look forward to seeing you in the service center this week, Kyle. Hope you're feeling good. Kyle's one of our great technicians over at Schrock Innovations in the Omaha Service Center. He's been out with some medical stuff, but he's good to go and ready to rock and roll. Just in time for a maintenance checkup sale, Kyle. Gotcha. I didn't tell you that was happening when you told me you could come back. No, so seriously, guys, if you can get in today, noon to 5, we're open in the service center. It's a great time to drop off their computer or computers for preventative maintenance. We recommend you get it once every 6 months because problems that we detect early are always cheaper to fix than problems we detect later. If you want to try to get a twofer kind of deal all put together, you can go onto the website right now at SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, and then you can buy a maintenance checkup certificate that entitles you to a prepaid maintenance checkup anytime in the next 6 months, as well as a safe upgrade installation. Then, if you want to bring it into the service center, we can do both in the service center for you at the same time. There is a slight upcharge if you have us do safe upgrade in the service center as opposed to you doing it at home. It's about $30 extra, but still it's a lot cheaper than an hour of labor or 2 hours of labor if your world blows up in your face. Given what happened last time, guys, I didn't want to make it sound too doomsday-y, but the last Windows 10 upgrade was brutal. It was very, very brutal. It was released. It was pulled back. It was brutal. I would venture a guess that it was more than 20% of people had problems. And because this version is going to obsolete versions of Office, more versions of QuickBooks, things that companies and businesses and people use that are very, very important stuff, it's really important you get this done in a controlled way if you rely on your computer for day-to-day connection to the world, invoicing, emailing, things like that. So check it out. You can go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials. You get the safe upgrade. You can get the maintenance checkup certificate. Same thing with the certificate. You want one per computer you're going to have maintenance. So one safe upgrade per computer you want upgraded, and one maintenance checkup certificate per computer you want to get maintenance. There is no limit on the maintenance certificates. There is, once we're sold out of safe upgrades, we are sold out of safe upgrades, and then it's done. All right. Let me scroll down, see if we had any other questions here. No, well, I don't know. I keep getting dropped. This is what I get for letting my son Jacob, play Fortnite on my computer at home the other day. Dad's got a really cool graphics card on here, and I can really get people get really good at Fortnite if I play on Dad's computer instead of the Xbox with its slow graphics card. That's what I get. I just bought a new laptop. Do I need safe upgrade? Every computer that's running Windows 10 is going to get an upgrade next month. Now, here's the question. We just sent, I think yesterday we sent another 7 computers down to the Lincoln Service Center for pickup, for data transfers and pickup for the Ultimate Upgrade sale. 7 people are going to take 7 computers home that have the current version of Windows 10 that's available right now. Next month, possibly tomorrow, which is next month, new version of Windows 10 is coming out. You will need that update. Now, people who pick up their computers, like if the update is out, we're going to install it on your computer for you, okay? Before you get it. We're going to give you the most up-to-date version of Windows 10 with all patches and updates and everything installed when we send it out the door, because that's what we do. But if you pick up your computer or we finish your computer before the update is done, it's not going to have that. So you picked up your computer already, so yes, you need a copy of Safe Upgrade. Now, need is relative. Let's say you're running your computer and the Windows 10 upgrade comes down, because it's a new computer that you just bought, you do have a warranty on it that includes Windows, and it blows up your computer and it doesn't boot, you bring it into the service center, we would fix it under the warranty. We can fix any problem with your computer. We can't always recover your data, and it's never free to recover your data. That's not included in the warranty. So if you have a situation where the update fails and you lose everything that's on the computer, you can see how that would be a hairy situation. Best practices is to make sure you get a copy of Safe Upgrade and let that do its job on the computer. Then that way, if the upgrade fails or the update fails for some reason, you not only have Safe Upgrade's warranty, but you have your new computer warranty as well. Safe Upgrade is called Safe Upgrade. It's not called Sure Upgrade. Safe Upgrade will stop and throw the yellow flag if your computer can't install the update for some reason. And that's your clue to get a hold of us so that you can figure out why your computer will not install this update. And then we will figure it out with you, either over the Schrock desk or in the service center or whatever we need to do. The vast majority of people will get the update just fine. 20% of you, it's going to blow up in your face and be the worst computer nightmare you've ever experienced. And it tends to hit the same people over and over again, if you hadn't noticed. That's why we came up with Safe Upgrade. We literally had customers that were coming into us exasperated because they're like, every 6 months, I may as well put it in the family budget, $220 every 6 months to fix the crap that Microsoft does to my computer. Can I sue them? Like literally that was the questions we were getting. So Safe Upgrade was our response to that, because we don't want our customers to be frustrated and have to come into us because they're ticked off. We want them to come to us when they have problems, true, but when it's the same problem over and over and over, somebody's got to fix it. And we can't call Microsoft and tell them to fix it. So we made an intermediary fix that gets the job done for you. We're not selling you the update. The update's free from Microsoft. You're going to get it whether you want it or not. Whenever Microsoft decides you get it, whether it's April 1st or April 30th, there's no stopping it. But we can at least control the way that you get it now. We can control the environment. We can make sure that your hard drive is good, that your third-party software is up to date, that your antivirus is current, that your computer has plenty of space on the hard drive for the installation. We can download it from a secure server that we know is faster than Microsoft server, so it gets done quicker. Then we can install it and monitor the installation. And if it fails for some reason, it'll pop up and tell you that it failed. If we know why it failed, we'll tell you why it failed. Most of the time we don't know why it failed. Then a technician looks, we figure out why it failed, we get you up and running. So it's much better to have it done in a controlled way than it is to have it done in willy-nilly, throw your hands up and hope for the best kind of way. We know this from experience. Does 1809 and above offer affordable upgrades for stuff that it makes obsolete? No, it does not. 1903 does not either. Now, here's the thing. There is common misconception about software. You don't own any of the software that you have. You don't have any of the software that you have. You don't own your copy of Windows. You don't own your copy of Microsoft Office, even if you have disks and a code. You don't own QuickBooks. You don't own Quicken. You don't own any more than you own Google. You don't own any of it. What you own is a temporary license that has been granted to you to use the software by the maker of the software. That license can expire at any time, can be expired for any reason or no reason. It's all in the terms of use that you never read. So when you have Office 2010, Microsoft intends you to replace that after 5 years. That's the standard operating procedure for software, because it's just impossible to keep that old piece of junk software compatible with all the new features that are coming in the world. And trust me, when you go to, okay, little things like Office 2019, if you use Outlook, when you send an email, and in the email you said, please find attached the important document that I'm sending you. How many times have you ever said you were going to attach something to an email and click send before you remembered to attach the dang document? Office 2019 will stop you and say, did you mean to attach a file to this email? Oh yeah, I did. And then, you know, the file that you're attaching is probably the last file you worked on, right? So when you click the attach button, it doesn't just open up a box like Office 2010 does. It says find the file you want to attach. It gives you a drop-down menu of the most recent files you've worked on, so you can just click it. It is so much easier. so much better, so much faster at synchronizing, so much more stable, so much more reliable, that it's worth the upgrade. Now, with that said, some people will say, sure, Thor, it's worth the upgrade, but it ain't worth the $500 to me. It's been a decade. You just can't use the same software for a decade anymore. That's just not how the computer world works. And I know it's not fun, it blows, whatever. It's just not how the world works. So there is going to be software that is going to be obsoleted by the new version of Windows, just like there always has been every time there's a new version. It's just in the past, without internet delivery, new versions of Windows came about every 2 years instead of every 6 months. So you would have Windows 95, Windows 98, and Windows 98 Second Edition, Windows Millennium. Then you had Windows XP, and then you had Windows Vista, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and then the 5 revisions of Windows 10 since then. And every one of those operating systems obsoleted some old piece of garbage software that just isn't compatible with Windows anymore. For security reasons, usually. Sometimes with the case of Office, I'm sure there's a monetary reason mixed in. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to get the update. You don't have a choice. It's going to obsolete older software, or you won't get the update because you have obsolete software installed. And then within 2 years of not getting the update, you also won't get security updates anymore because you didn't get the new version of Windows because you had outdated software. And now the current version of Windows you're running 2 years in the future is outdated software also, so it's not going to get security updates anymore, which means you won't be able to run Endpoint or Secure Updater or any other security software or install printers or any garbage like that. Literally, you're forced to keep up with it, which is why Microsoft started offering Office as a service. You can subscribe to it annually. You still save if you're one of those people like me that saves your Office software, that keeps it for 5 years before you move on, you're going to save money by buying it. By buying the license for it, but you don't even get discs and a code anymore. You get a business card with a code on it that you have to have a Microsoft account to use. You sign into your Microsoft account, you put the code in, there you go, your license is there to use the software. You download the software and install it on your computer. There's not even a disk anymore. So short answer is no, you're out of luck if you have software that's so old that it's not going to work. But the good news is you don't have to replace it immediately. In the case of like a business environment, if you're using QuickBooks, migrating QuickBooks is kind of a big deal. So the update just won't install. It'll keep trying, but it won't install. We migrate people's QuickBooks all the time for them in the Service Center. The maintenance checkup special will go on for the entire month of April. But for best turnaround times, here's what ends up happening. The first week of the maintenance checkup special, we sell a boatload of certificates and we get a first rush of people into the shop. Week 2, both certificate sales and visits to the Service Center start to decline a little bit. Week 3, we start having people who purchase certificates in week 1 dropping off their computers, and everyone starts realizing the end of the month is coming, so they start jumping in, especially in this particular launch, because when you think about it, I talked about it a little bit today, but we really didn't do the whole spiel. I didn't go into why you need maintenance and why it's important and everything else. So the first that anyone's going to really hear about this in the month of April is going to be April 7th, which is a quarter of the way through the month already. So week 3 is actually going to be week 4 for them, which is when all the procrastinators of the world unite. That's when certificate sales go through the roof. That's when everybody who bought a certificate is dropping in on the Service Center, and people who are dropping in on the Service Center are dropping in on the Service Center. Knowing our luck, that will also be the week the Safe Upgrade comes out. The Microsoft will release the update, and then we'll have to deal with that too. So I would recommend acting earlier rather than later, to be brutally honest. Buy your certificates if you're going to do the certificates. If you're going to come into the Service Center, now is primo time. Lincoln's bench is virtually naked. Omaha's bench is about 25%. Papillion's bench is virtually naked. We came in early. We worked late yesterday. Everything is cleaned up and ready to go because we know we're going to get punched in the face today. So we're open from noon until 5. Drop off those computers if you want to today. It's good stuff. Your Office documents, when you get a new version of Office, your documents don't go away. Your documents are still there. You can still open them and view them. You just use the new version of Office rather than the old version of Office. And so, of course, also, new documents have a different extension. They're DOCX files instead of DOC files. Some changes, but it's all cross-compatible, so that's all stuff you're not even going to notice. You'll be able to open all of your old documents just fine, as well as your new documents. If you really, really, really are upset with Microsoft about how they're obsoleting things, you can always install LibreOffice. That is the free open source version of Office that it's not made by Microsoft, but it opens all the Microsoft documents. So you could really just ditch Office altogether if you really wanted to, but it is nowhere near as nice as Microsoft Office is, to be honest. If the 1809 and above upgrade completes, will it tell you which apps and programs were made obsolete and need replacement? No, actually. It'll error off because those apps, if it was an app or a program that was not compatible, it will warn you before going forward with the installation that there are apps or programs that are not compatible. It'll give you a box and tell you that before it installs the update. Because after it installs the update, you may not be able to uninstall those programs anymore because the uninstallers may also be not compatible. So you have to remove that software to proceed with the update. Again, that's why we call it safe upgrade, not sure upgrade, because if it pops up with one of those things, then the upgrade's going to fail. It's going to tell you why it failed. You have to remediate that, and then you can go forward with your update after that. Yeah, you know, Richard, it would be nice if there was a program that told you, you know, what you needed upgraded and what you needed when. The trouble is people don't listen. So Microsoft has been telling when did I don't want to tell you wrong here. I'm going to look this up. When did Microsoft end mainstream support for Office 2010? When did Microsoft end mainstream support for Office 2010? Okay. Extended support goes through October 13th of 2020. So you've got a little over a year if you're paying for updates. And let's look at the roadmap here. And the way they're doing this is it's kind of sneaky. The 2020 date is for people who are paying for updates, not for people who are getting free updates, first of all. Secondly, the activation servers for Office 2010 have been disabled. So if you need to reinstall your Office 2010 for some reason, you won't be able to because there's no activation. The activation services are no longer supported for that product. Let's see, what about servers? What else should I consider? On April 20th, 2017, Office 365 requirements were realigned. So basically, they told you in 2017 this was going to happen. As their defense. We told you 3 years ago this was going to happen, and now it's happening. You just ignored us. Yeah, which, of course, no one has anything better to do than listen to Microsoft and see when their stuff is supposed to expire. You know, that makes total sense. All right, guys, I got to sign off. Thank you for listening to the program. I appreciate you joining us here today. We'll be back again next Sunday. Probably expect to see some Facebook Live and stuff like that popping. For those of you who purchased maintenance checkup certificates, you will not get a robocall about it. We will be issuing a robocall about the preventative maintenance checkup to let everybody know, just because we're going to send the email first. We're going to let the email go through and let people purchase. We're going to let people come into the service center first this week. Anybody who hasn't been in the last 6 months, then we'll get a robocall, because we found that email notifications are not exactly reliable always. So if you get a robocall from us, that's what it's about. Also, robocall going out tomorrow for Endpoint. It's very critical that you renew. If you get one of these robocalls, do call us back and renew your stuff so we don't end up bugging you at the end of the month and having to reinstall it like we're going to do for this other gentleman here today too. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great afternoon. It's not evening yet. Great afternoon, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.